Welcome to the PR Maven podcast, a podcast all about growing your network and building your brand through traditional and digital networking techniques. I'm Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven and CEO of Marshall Communications. Stay tuned for this week's episode, and thanks for listening. Welcome, PR Maven Nation, to this week's episode, which is the first of our mini episodes, a quick and informative look at generic press releases versus customized pitches. The podcast is presented by Marshall Communications, creator of the 65-step Marshall Plan process. For more information, visit my website at marshallpr.com. And on the website, under PR Maven, you'll find information about my two books, one which I published at the beginning of the pandemic, Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand, which is really a process to build your personal brand. And then my first book called PR Works, How to Create, Implement, and Leverage a Public Relations Program for Your Small Business. Those are both available on Amazon.com. This week, I'm going to be sharing a column that I published on the Forbes Agency Council website called PR Pros Don't Send Generic Press Releases, Use Customized Pitches. So let's dive right in. If you work in public relations, you know all about press releases. The Cambridge Dictionary defines a press release as a public statement given to the press to publish if they wish. PR agencies and internal communications teams use these public statements to provide media contacts with useful information in theory, from proactive event announcements and product launches to reactionary comments. And press releases are used often. Every year, PR professionals send out tens of thousands of press releases to a wide range of media contacts who may plug them into news coverage or not. But just because press releases are sent out often doesn't make them effective. To the contrary, today's PR professionals lean on generic press releases too much, when customized pitches are the way to go. By customized, I mean targeting the right media contacts and individualizing your pitches to suit their specific interests. This can be done in a few simple steps. Let's say you're pitching a single news outlet. First, research your targeted publication and the broader media landscape, figuring out what content is considered newsworthy at a given point in time and which reporters are covering the beat that is relevant to your pitch. Ask yourself, what news do they care about and who in particular would realistically cover what I am pitching? Then try to interact with those reporters so they understand your background and credentials. Following reporters on social media, such as LinkedIn or Twitter, secret weapon, Twitter, and engaging with their social media posts can go a long way in expanding your name recognition in the media's eyes. On top of that, you should follow what reporters are currently covering, read their writing, internalize their work, read their tweets, like their tweets. Otherwise, you won't be able to identify the specific reporters who could feasibly be interested in your pitch. You would basically be sending press releases blindly, hoping for the best without doing your due diligence. Do you know what's even better than reading a reporter's work or engaging with them on social media? Face-to-face interaction. Get to know reporters personally. Even in the age of COVID-19, it is still possible to schedule Zoom conferences or coffee chats and make phone calls to media contacts who may be interested in your pitches. Make yourself available and make reporters comfortable with you so they trust you. If reporters can put a face to an email, it increases the chances that they'll respond to your pitch and reward you with the news coverage that you need. I try to think of myself as a servant to the media. In other words, I am of service to reporters, providing them with useful information that they wouldn't otherwise encounter on a daily basis. After all, PR should be a two-way street. Reporters allow people like us to secure earned media, but we also make it easier for them to write their news stories. That is the true role of PR. The next step, once you've conducted the appropriate media research, is to develop a pitch that is concise, to the point, and targeted. Share information that is meaningful, but don't do it in paragraphs and paragraphs of text. Long paragraphs are boring. More often than not, 2 to 3 pithy paragraphs will suffice. Pithy paragraphs, say that 10 times fast. Then figure out the best way to communicate your message to the targeted audience. Most of your pitches will be done via email, but you may be better off chatting with reporters on Facebook or sending them direct messages through Instagram or Twitter. There is no one size fits all approach to media outreach. Make it personal and state your case for news coverage. At that point, the reporter can say yes or no. If a reporter happens to reject your idea, it doesn't mean that you can't try again. Oftentimes, reporters will tell me, just keep trying, stay in touch. Persistence and tenacity are the telltale signs of an effective PR professional. Follow up, then follow up again. If it's still a no, you may have to try another reporter. The trick is to be persistent and tenacious, but don't be a pest either. It's a fine line and a matter of emotional intelligence. You should feel it if you're becoming a nuisance. If not, try putting yourself in the reporter's shoes and understand how you'd react to those repeated follow ups. Step outside of your bubble. If the reporter shows interest, however, your best bet is to be as responsive as possible. Reporters are often on deadlines, so be of service and be on time. Respond to their questions as soon as possible, answering to the best of your ability. Offer assistance in collecting photos or video as well. Help a reporter to write their news story, and they will remember you. They may even come back for more information and future news stories. They may want a quote from an expert on the topic. Hinder their progress, and you may easily burn bridges. Once a news story has been written, your job is still not done. The most effective PR professionals cultivate personal relationships with reporters before, during, and after they conduct media outreach. Say thank you. You can even send a handwritten thank you note, which is something that I have always done. Your gratitude will be remembered. Don't underestimate the power of showing appreciation, especially if it's done with a personal touch. Over time, you will develop a Rolodex of media contacts whom you can contact on a regular basis. They will trust you to help them, and you can trust them to provide news coverage. This relationship doesn't have to be purely transactional either. From time to time, you may want to share an idea for a news story that has nothing to do with your organization or the client at hand. Even if you see an opportunity for a reporter to break news, share that idea. Reporters should be grateful for the help, even if they don't write the story. But above all, but above all else, scrap the generic press release. Customize your pitches, and you will see results. For more insight, get access to my latest book, Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand, by visiting prmaven.com/giveaway and download a free copy today. Here is my good friend, Julene Gervais, to share how Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand has helped her grow the audience for the public broadcasting show, Elevating Voices, and the other show that she hosts, Greenlight Maine.
Hi, I'm Julene Gervais, host of the television program Greenlight Maine. Nancy Marshall's book, Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand, helped our team tremendously develop a loyal following, and it helped us expand with 2 television programs called the Greenlight Maine College Edition and Elevating Voices. Plus, we've picked up 3 Emmy nominations. I highly recommend you read Nancy's book to grow your brand.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the PR Maven podcast. I invite you to share a review of the podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also join the PR Maven Nation on Facebook. It's free to join, and it's a great community of like-minded individuals who are all looking to learn and grow from one another. If you use an Alexa device, use your Alexa app to search the Skills and Games section to find and enable the PR Maven Podcast Flash Briefing. This will give you access to exclusive content and more PR and marketing advice. Thanks again for listening, and have a great rest of your week, PR Maven Nation.